So you're thinking about running, but not sure how to take the first step. My name's Brian Patterson, and I'm here to help. And welcome to Brian's Run Pod. Well, hey there, runners and fitness enthusiasts. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Brian's Run Pod. I'm your host, Brian Patterson, and today we've got a truly inspiring guest lined up for you. Again, at Brian's Run Pod first, we have an author. And if you've ever wondered how to turn a challenging situation into an incredible journey, then stick around because today's story is all about resilience, determination, and the love of running. She has just launched her own book, Just Run, My Love for Running and How the Impossible Becomes Possible. Joining us is Merili Freear, whose running journey began in April 2020 during England's first COVID-19 lockdown. Since then, she's conquered thousands of miles, including 2 marathons, 2 ultramarathons, originally from Estonia. Merili now calls rural Lincolnshire, England, her home, where she lives with her supportive family and her spirited schnauzer, Jack. Running has become more than just a hobby for Merili, and it's a way to maintain her mental well-being and push her own boundaries. Her mission to inspire and empower others and to discover and unlock their full potential. We'll be diving into Merili's incredible story and discussing her achievements and exploring how running has shaped her life in ways she has never imagined. So lace up those running shoes, folks, and get ready to be motivated. So welcome to the podcast, Merili. Hello. Everyone gets that.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
Great. That's fantastic.
I'm really pleased to be here.
Right. I just wanted to start, usually with a lot of my interviews, I usually start from right at the beginning as to what sort of exercise was or what relationship you had with exercise growing up at school in Estonia.
Yes, my relationship with exercise wasn't very good. I didn't like physical exercise at school. I really struggled with it, and I could say I even hated these classes. So you wouldn't think from that I could ever become a runner. But as I got older, when I was around 12 or 13, we started to go to aerobics classes with my sister, and it was quite far away. So we, instead of taking a bus, we walked. And I'm a keen walker to this day. I always love to explore new places when walking if I can't run, because now I also run when we go to holidays, anything like that. But back then, walking was the main activity. But we started to add little runs to those walks. We went just out for maybe 1 or 2 miles, and it was more like fair weather running. So if the weather was cold, we didn't go, and we did it all for the wrong reasons, mostly to lose weight. But I have fond memories looking back to those runs with my sister. And late in my 20s, I even took part of some of the races, but my running back then was really chaotic. I maybe signed up for the race because all the colleagues were going, and in Estonia it's very much supported all sports by your workplaces, and quite often you get either discounted entry or free entry from your workplace to go for those races, and then I did a few of them with colleagues, and my training was mostly just going for a few runs a few weeks before the race, and then after the race was done, then I stopped. And so I really didn't consider myself a runner back then.
Yeah.
But when I started when I started during the lockdown 2020, then after that, not right away, but gradually I started to think myself as a runner, because I was doing it more for the right reasons. I did it for my mental health. I did it to feel good. It was never an issue that I would run to lose weight or that I could have cake or anything like that, because I think a lot of people start running just to, that they could eat more or anything like that. Although if it works for them, it's not wrong, but at the same time, it might not be sustainable, because you just don't do it for the right reasons. You don't do it for the enjoyment of it. It's more like a punishment.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, is just going back to at school, I mean, is there kind of like a predominant focus within the curriculum at school in Estonia that you do, you must do certain amounts of exercise a week or something like that?
Yeah, yes, there were, a certain amount of exercise, but there was also like, you needed to run like, let's say 30 meters or 60 meters on certain time. And if you didn't do it, then you got a bad grade. And
right. So it was linked to your overall grade.
I was a good student. I was an A student, but I got bad grade in PE, and it got me really down, because it's you have all A's and then suddenly your PE is like C, so it just doesn't come across.
Oh, your average comes down.
Yeah, because there were like things that I was able to get good grades, but I was never good with running 30 meters or 60 meters or high jump or anything like that. But I think it's wrong that these kind of activities are graded. I think it should be like everybody has their talents in different places, and so I think it should be more focused on that. I don't know if it's any more like that, because, well, I'm 42 now, so it was long time ago, but at the time, that's how it was.
Yes. Yeah. But maybe I think I think it depends on the type of teacher that you have. I know when I was at school, there was a teacher who was very enthusiastic about his passion for his particular sport. And I think if you have someone like that, that kind of translates itself to whoever they're teaching. I mean, he was into basketball and we just loved basketball and he was very good at it and that kind of thing. Whereas, I think that has a lot to do with it for me. I don't know if they're passionate about something, then yeah. But if it's just kind of a bit, I have to go through it, then maybe it's not a good way of, let's say, getting, the kids involved or something like that. It might be different now.
It seemed to be that a lot that you just go through the curriculum and there were some activities that I enjoyed, but it was a lot of pressure, to perform well. And if you just wasn't capable of doing it, then it's just, not everybody can run 30 meters as fast as it's required.
So moving on, I mean,
to this day, I don't like fast running. So
don't you?
I much rather would run 20 miles than quick 5Ks.
Oh my God. Okay. During COVID, did you feel that your mental health suffered, or was it just like you said? Was it just something that taking up running was just something so you can get out of the house? And
at the time when I went for that first run, my son wasn't even 3 yet. He was just going to turn 3 in a few weeks, and I just felt that we were trapped in the house. We weren't able to do any of our normal activities, and I felt really challenged was challenging time, because right now looking back to it, you think that, well, it wasn't that bad, but actually it was. It was. You weren't able to see any of your friends, any of your family.
I know.
You had a lot of worry, unknown about everything, and trying to explain for your nearly 3-year-old that what's going on, and why we can't go on any of those places that he likes, why we can't go to the playground, because you weren't even allowed to go to the playground to start with. So
it was like, I don't know, it's like a different time period whenever my wife and we talk about it, and it was like a piece of, it was like history, just, and you kind of like, you kind of existed through, you kind of went through it, and you look today, it's so different. It's very different.
It is. I must say that some of the good things came from that period as well.
Yeah.
Because I think people were forced to be more creative. When the restrictions eased a bit, then we started to look more opportunities to explore the local woods, and I spent hours every week with my son there, and I thought it was like really good learning opportunity. We were able to talk about all the plants, and he was outside, I was outside, and a lot of those places, if I wouldn't been forced to do it, I might not never explored or discovered. So in that sense, it was that good part of the COVID. And for me personally, I don't think if I would have wouldn't been forced to go out for running, that I would have started. Yeah. Maybe I would, but it was the driving force, and running has changed my life a lot, and I have gained so much from it. So for that, I'm ever so grateful. On the bad side of it, my father died of COVID.
Oh, right. So I'm sorry to hear that. Yes.
So it really did hit close to home. So
yes, that's right. So and also, I mean, so you in a way, you've got, it was quite a positive experience for you, because so during COVID, I know when I used to go walk around, I was saying, yeah, maybe I should do a 10K program, or, do something like that. Mm-hmm. And that kind of spurred me on to do that, because you kind of had the time to do it. Is that how it felt for you, that, you thought you could kind of explore not running just as an exercise, but kind of as the sport itself?
Yes, definitely. Because when I looking back to it, and I seem to have a lot more time to run back then than I have now.
Yes.
It's more trickier to fit it in. But then it was like I went out for an evening run, and I felt that, okay, instead of 6 miles, maybe I go and do 10, and I could do that because I normally went when my son had gone to bed, and so I didn't have to rush back. And during the summertime, it wasn't dark or anything like that. And during the weekend runs, I just, because I went out quite early in the morning, so I just did what I felt was right, and it felt really empowering. Because I never seen myself as a sporty person, and then you're suddenly able to go out and run quite good distances, and it made me feel good. It made me feel that maybe I can do more things than just running, that if it's something that I never thought that I could possibly do, I'm able to do, then maybe it applies for the other areas of my life as well.
Yeah.
Definitely gave me confidence.
So in those early days, did you find, I mean, your fitness kind of exponentially, improve? So,
yes,
really quickly.
Yes, it went really quickly. I'm surprised at that, because first run I went out, I was dead slow, but I ran 4K, so it's very decent distance for somebody who is not used to running.
Yeah.
Yes, a few weeks before I actually went outside for running, I did some running on a spot and running on the garden, but that was like very little bits. So that was just only for a few weeks.
Right. Okay. Okay.
But still 4K is quite a good distance, I would think, even if it's dead slow.
Yeah, well, you're nearly doing park run. So,
Yeah.
and were you doing it just once a week, or was there you're doing a couple of times a week?
To start with, I went a few times, and then I started to look into what I actually should be doing. And then, I had this idea that maybe I could run half marathon. And so I started to look for the plans for the half marathon. But
right.
a lot of the plans were just, you have to run like 4, 5, 6 times a week. And I just felt that I can't really do that. So I found a training plan that required running 3 times a week. And so I started to loosely follow it. And then I just didn't listen to the plan and did a stupid thing and just went out and ran a half marathon, which I wouldn't really recommend because you could get injured and all those things. But at the time, I just felt that I really needed it, and it gave me such a boost because it's really stupid. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody else. But
because you use one of my favorite apps, Runkeeper. I don't know. I like that app because I
used Runkeeper because I didn't have a sports watch back then, and that worked really well. So when I ran that first half marathon, I didn't know much about the pace. I thought that it's giving me my like kilometer or mile times, but it was actually my average pace that it was saying, and I couldn't even figure out what it was saying. But it's all the learning curve when you start. I think running community helped a lot because I joined Facebook groups and then you learn from there, reading other people's posts. You could get some advice and that definitely helped me to push forward and learn what I need to do.
Yeah. And I don't know, I was just thinking here that because suddenly you kind of latched on to running, do you think there was kind of a void in your life that you needed to fill, and then basically running kind of filled that void, and you kind of?
I think so, because it was the time when I felt, before I had my son, I worked as an internal auditor for 10 years. After he was born, I briefly returned to work, but because it wasn't remote working back then.
Right.
Okay. My transport, travel times were so long. So it just wasn't doable. And so I kind of didn't want to go back to internal audit. I wanted to have some sort of career change. And so I think in a way I found that running, and then I just thought that I'm taking everything from it, that I have actually found something that I love and maybe I can do something more about it.
Yeah.
Though I didn't know what it was at the time.
And then, like you said, you said you found that the community was really helpful, and did it kind of because you had this thirst for knowledge, what were the main things you kind of, that they kind of
things that I probably learned is I have a body that is prone to injury because I have hypermobile joints. So it means that my joints are a bit more bendy than, it's very common. 30% of people have this condition, but as a new runner, you kind of have to strengthen the areas where you could get overuse injuries. Right. I got runner's knee quite early on, but I'm really grateful that it happened because it forced me to look into what I have to do to avoid that. So I looked into strength training and I started to do running drills, and I took this book here because it has been really my running
free of injuries.
Running free of injuries. It's a brilliant book for maybe we could add it to the episode notes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll
like
put it in the description. Yeah,
because,
definitely. As well as your book.
Yeah, it's a brilliant book because for me, I can't run to the physio every time when I have a niggle or something like that.
Yeah.
But this book clearly explains what's going on, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, what kind of exercises I have to do to sort it out. And 90% of the time it does help. So I really believe into the books.
Yeah.
It has really helped me.
Yeah. But yeah, because I'm I think getting over the injury of, they call it policeman's heel. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's plantar fasciitis. It's basically when the bottom of your foot suffered. Yeah. So I think maybe it's to do with either, I don't know if it's my trainers or I kind of tend to overstride, that kind of thing. So
there are several things from this book it could probably give, because I have an ongoing thing with my ball of the foot, which is not the plantar fasciitis, but the exercises are very similar. So I'm very much aware what you need to do for that condition. So there are like some exercises.
Reading the book, you're quite determined when you do get an injury that you kind of run through it, don't you? Is that right?
Well, it is right. I'm very stubborn.
Very stubborn, yeah.
Very stubborn. Yes. When on 2021, I got an IT band injury, and this was something that really crippled me for a long time. But instead of resting to start with, I pushed through because it wasn't hurting during the whole run. It started from certain distance. So to start it was after 5 miles, and then the distance got shorter and shorter, and I pushed through for months. I did all the strength training and everything, and then I just didn't give my body a rest, and then I was beating myself up that why I'm not recovering, and I went to see a physio, and she gave me another set of exercises, and nothing really helped.
Right.
In the end, I was really feeling down about it, and then again, I love books, so I sought help from another book. It's called Rebound. I have it in here again.
Oh, right.
Rebound, train your mind to bounce back stronger from sports injuries. And this one helped me to change my thinking. So,
okay.
There were all sorts of exercises like injuries, SWOT analysis, and all sorts of those kind of things. But the main thing that I took from that book, that you should celebrate your small wins. So you shouldn't be comparing, like when you're injured and I'm going out and I'm maybe running 5K and I run it pain-free. So I shouldn't come back and say that well, okay, I did that 5K, but I normally would have run a lot faster and further, and well, that's not no good.
Right.
Instead, I should come home and say, I run 5K. I run it pain-free, and this is where I am right now, and I'm really happy with my time. So instead of comparing yourself with others or who you were in the past, just celebrate that present moment. And I think it's, even if you're not injured, it's something that is important, because we all have things going on with our lives. Like maybe we are more tired, maybe we have more stress in our lives, and maybe our running just doesn't go so well at that moment. And it's easy to compare yourself that maybe I run faster in the past, or maybe that person runs so much faster, but you are where you are, and you should celebrate that. Well, I did well. I went out. I did a lot more than those people who didn't, and I think that's really important thing to take, because unless you're doing it professionally and you're a professional athlete, then you have this kind of glitches, that things maybe not going as you want them to go, but just to remind yourself to be kinder to yourself and celebrate small wins.
So in that, just to summarize, basically there is a link between the psychology and the physiology, and and it's kind of all rolled into one sort of thing. It's not just, okay, I'll rest for, a week and then hope, fingers crossed, it gets better, sort of thing.
No, it's not just that, because I remember this one run when I was coming off from that IT band injury. I went for a run, and then, well, it was a bit raining and it was cold, and then I felt that, I think my knee is starting to hurt. And instead of concentrating on that I'm uncomfortable and everything, that it might be hurting, I started to think that, well, my knees are strong, I'm feeling good, and it went. So it's a lot of it is in your mind. I have done 2 40-mile ultras, and with ultras, it's a lot of it is a mind game. As much as you have to prepare your body to do it, you have to prepare your mind. And I think you have to prepare your mind even more than your body, because your body can do a lot more than you think, but your mind is the one that gives up. You say that you're hurting, you're tired, you can't do it. But instead, I have this like set of mantras that I'm using. Like I run my last ultra in May, and I had really poor preparation because I had a few bouts of illness in February and March, and until the week before I thought that maybe I'm not even going. But I decided that didn't finish would be better than didn't start. So I thought at least I will go and I will try and see what happens. And I did quite well, but I did have difficult moments during that run, but I kept saying to myself that I'm strong and I can do hard things, and it pushed me through, and it definitely, especially with that ultra, it proved to me that the mental game has so much importance, because I think physically I shouldn't been able to do it, but I got myself through my mind.
Because people will say to you, or even physios and people who are medical, they'll say, oh no, if you carry on running through the injury, you're going to create, it's going to be it's going to be, you're going to create more problems for yourself and you won't be able to run, sort of thing. But just saying what you're saying is that, using the power of your mind and, your mental focus can get you through, or can help you get you through
it. Yes, obviously you if it's unsafe to keep running, you shouldn't do. But if it's a niggle, you have to just listen to your body, because I do a fair bit of cross training as well, because if I feel that it's not safe to keep running, if I have some pain or niggle, then I hop on I have indoor bike and I hop on that, and that helps at least to keep my fitness up, and because I do cross train regularly, so if I do get injured, then at least I won't get repetitive injury from cycling, because my body is already used to it.
And you're keeping your aerobic capacity up as well.
Exactly. And I have learned to enjoy it. I didn't like it to start with, but I now quite enjoy it. I go outside with the bike as well, but the indoor bike is convenient because I can maybe do some online learning at the same time, or watch my favorite episode or something like that.
But also, I think the other thing is, one takeaway is, even just speaking to you, is that when you get injured, it's a kind of way of you're reinventing yourself. So when you do start again, it's like you're fresh, I don't know. Do you agree with me? It's like you're...
Yes, I definitely agree with it, because I think injuries make you more resilient.
Yeah.
You know that you can't take things for granted. You have to do things differently, that it wouldn't happen again. You have to look through what you do for your warm-up, what you do for your cool-down. Do you strength train enough? And just maybe you have to change your trainers more often, or you learn from it. But it makes your mind so much more resilient, because you can get through it and you can come to the other side and be stronger from it.
Yeah. Now, if you're a regular listener, you'll know that I tend to split my interviews into two. As you have heard from Merili, she has a fascinating story about how she got into running. In our next episode, we talk about how she took her passion to new levels. Plus, we talk about the process of writing her new book. And that's a wrap for another exhilarating episode of Brian's Run Pod. Thanks for tuning in, folks. As always, we've got your back with all things running. And next week, get ready for some awesome beginner hints and tips to kickstart your running journey. Oh, and before we sign off, exciting news. We're now available on YouTube. So whether you're pounding the pavement or chilling at home, you can catch us there too. Plus, we have a new feature on the podcast. You can now send me a message. Yep, you heard it right. Brian's Run Pod has become interactive with the audience. If you look at the top of the episode description, tap on send us a text message. You can tell me what you think of the episode, or alternatively, what you would like covered. If you're lucky, I might even read them out on the podcast. Hey, if you want to keep up with the latest updates, behind the scenes fun, and even some exclusive content, make sure to follow me on social media. You can find me on Twitter, or should I say X, at Brian's Run Pod. We've also just launched a shiny new Facebook page. Simply search for Brian's Run Pod and give us a like. And don't forget to hop on over to Instagram, where you can catch all our visual adventures at Brian's Run Pod. For those of you who love diving deep into the episodes, head over to our website, www.briansrunpod.co.uk, and there you'll find detailed show notes, handy chapter markers, make it too easy to navigate through our favourite discussions. Please leave a review, as it will always help others find this podcast. Music is by Happy Days by Stock Audio, not forgetting artwork by Alice Patterson. Till next week, thanks again for listening.